Hello, I'm Jim Cathcart. What does it mean to be a professional speaker? I have people come up to me all the time and say, I want to be a professional speaker, because I've been doing that for the last 40 plus years and I've spoken all over the world, and they say, yeah, I like that, I want to do that. Well, what it means to be a professional speaker is not just that you give speeches, but that you think in a different way and that you developed a different set of skills that allow you to have a positive impact on people every time you speak. Now, what does that mean? Well, first off, the purpose of a speech is to give value to the audience. It's not about being a brilliant performer unless that performance offers value to the audience. So, being a professional speaker means developing the skills to be worth being paid to deliver your messages to other people. Now, there are 8 areas that you need to be competent or skilled in order to do that. And if you look at any profession, people in that field, whether it's a mechanical industry or medicine or whatever, they've got to know the industry. They've got to understand how to work with the different types of people throughout the industry. They've got to be good at what they do and get constantly better at that, and so forth. So I looked several years ago when I was on the board of directors of the National Speakers Association, which is a collection of about 4,000 professional speakers and authors based in the United States that has now spawned the Global Speakers Federation. And there are groups like the China Speakers Association, German Speakers Association, Australian, Canadian, etc., all around the world, where professional speakers come together to teach each other to advance their craft. The purpose of it is not to just expand the industry, like people at a big expo showing their wares. It's for professional education, to help each other grow and improve. So I was on the board of NSA, the National Speakers Association, many years ago, and they gave me the task of coming up with a structure for our education program. And I came up with what I call the 8 competencies model for professional education. And it's easily divided into 4 groupings, and we used 4 letters or words that begin with the letter E to represent each of those groupings. The first one is the word ethics, meaning ethical or professional behavior. It's got 2 parts. First part is knowing your profession. If you're a professional speaker, that means you understand the meetings industry. You understand the communication world and what's going on in that world. You know your profession. You know what the American Society of Association Execs, Meeting Professionals International, International Society or Association of Exposition Managers, etc. You know, all those different types of groups. You know what that means and who they are. You understand who the speakers bureaus are and what their role is in representing speakers. So that's a pretty big knowledge chunk right there. That's the first competency. Second competency, understanding professional relationships. All the varied ways that you can connect with your colleagues and service providers in this field. In other words, understanding what is the protocol in working with a meeting planner who hires you. What are the expectations when working with a speaker's bureau or an agent who's booking you and representing you? What's good to do and what's considered not good to do, right? Another thing is knowing how to partner with your colleagues, how to form partnerships, or how to co-author things, how to structure that agreement, how to do licensing, affiliation agreements. There's so many things to learn. All of that, professional relationships. So that's the ethics competency. Now you go to the next E, and that's expertise. In other words, what are you an expert on? What subject or subjects? And it may be that you're an expert performer and you do performances, or maybe you're a humorist and you tell stories and you get people to laugh. It may be that you're an educator and what you do is you teach people a very specific subject, or you're a researcher, or you're a motivational speaker. Many, many, many different types of conveying your expertise to other people. So what NSA did is structured that competency around teaching us how to research our topic and become more expert at that topic. Now, the second half of expertise is not just you having it, but you sharing it. So that means authorship and product development. What are the many ways that you could turn your knowledge into books, videos, learning series, systems, techniques, group involvement exercises, so that other people could consume that information and benefit from it? So that's the expertise competency. So you got two under the ethics heading: professional awareness, professional relationships. Two under the expertise heading, and that is topic development, becoming an expert, and product development and authorship. Okay? The next E is enterprise, meaning sales and marketing and business management. Because sales and marketing is different when you, the speaker, are the product than when you're selling something like an automobile or an insurance policy. It requires a different kind of thinking, a whole different set of strategies, so that you don't come across as egotistical and all full of yourself. Instead, you're focused on the needs of the client. Sales and marketing. The second half of that is business management. Managing a business like this one is very different from managing a business that has a concrete location where you show up every day. For a speaker, many times their office is the airplane on the way to a speaking engagement, or in front of a camera at the beginning of a webinar. So that falls under the enterprise competency. And then the fourth E is eloquence, meaning your ability to convey your thoughts in a way that captures other people's attention, affects their emotions, causes them to take action. There are two parts to eloquence. One is speaking well. The other one is managing the environment so that your speech goes well without interruption. For example, in speaking well, we talk about presenting and performing. Presenting and performing means mastering the skill of storytelling, mastering the skill of structuring a speech so that it's easy for them to understand and for you to deliver, knowing how to control your voice and your movement so that you don't distract from your message. Things like that fall under the presenting and performing. Then on the other side, you have the mechanics of it, meaning stagecraft. It's things like understanding lighting, understanding sound, understanding systems like the microphone system and so forth, knowing how to correct problems that come up, understanding how to set up a room for optimal learning so that the room itself is not a barrier to learning, but instead is helping with it. Knowing choreography and movement on stage so that the movement advances the message instead of distracting from it. So as you can see, with the 4 E's, we have 8 subjects. The first E, ethics, professional awareness, knowing your profession, and professional relationships, knowing how to connect with all the people, right? The second E, expertise, knowing your topic and knowing how to research it so you become more knowledgeable about it, and knowing how to publish that in ways that other people can consume it. Next one is enterprise, sales and marketing, how to get yourself bookings and engagements so that you can practice your craft. And business development, business management, running a business like this business in a way that's efficient and it grows. And then finally, eloquence. And that one, presenting, performing, number 1. And the second half is stagecraft, platform mechanics, we call it. So with those 8 competencies, you can become a more successful professional speaker. And the key to professionalism is that there are 5 elements. You're educated for what you do. Your education never ends. It's lifelong education. You do what you do for pay. You do it as a service to other people, and you do it according to a set of ethical standards. That's the reason the Speakers Association was formed in the first place, was so we could set some standards to which all of us would make a commitment so that we knew if we were speaking we would be adhering to those standards. If our colleagues were speaking, we could trust them to do the same, and everybody would gain more respect for professional speakers and the profession of speaking, and the industry would advance, and you right along with it.